What's happening, guys? I'm back and I'm here to show off a new piece of gear. This is the Synergy SYN1 unit and the Bogner XTC module. Now, these things have been around for a while, and I'm sure at least most of you kind of know what they are. And if you're not familiar with it, it's basically a modular preamp system that mounts into either this single unit or a 2-unit rack mount module or a 50-watt 2-module head. And I got this because I just wanted to dip my toes into the Synergy water to see what it was all about, to see if it's worth going down that kind of gotta collect them all type rabbit hole. But I started with the XTC because I feel like it covers the most practical ground sonically for what our band does. And yeah, I've kind of been on the fence with this one because I had I guess it was an okay but not great experience with it on stage, where it just didn't sound great in my ears. But when I went back and watched our performance of the show, like through the PA and the room audio, man, it sounded so good. So I wasn't ready to kick it to the curb just yet. I picked this up used on Reverb for about $600 for both of them, and I feel like that was a pretty good deal for what all it offers, and the flexibility and the potential flexibility that it offers if you do go with like maybe a dedicated clean and a drive unit, like I think Friedman's got one. But anyways, I'm going to get to playing here, but first I'm going to tell you about the signal path. I've got the Tokai going into the Golden Boy, into the Synergy, and I've got a Delverb in the loop, and it's then going to the Fryette power station, to the Splawn 412, which has a 57 and a 421 mic'd. And yeah, I'll just get to play in here. Quick brief run through of how I have this set up. Kind of it's in the middle EQ voicing, the pre-voicing. That's kind of how the Bogner XTC, these little tiny switches operate, where in the lower position it gives more of a focus in the lower mids, and if you push it up you get more focus in the upper mids. And then over here on these the Shizo, I think that's how you pronounce it, the Shizo switches, it changes the overall kind of aggression of the sound. And so I'm just gonna kind of start here in what I consider to be kind of a neutral-ish sounding voicing, and this is what it sounds like on the blue channel. So that's for me, that's a fairly crunchy sound, and something that I can clean up a pretty decent bit, but we can also change that aggression switch to the middle setting, back the gain down a little bit, and automatically, much cleaner sound. Oh, I got a FRX on this thing now. Got a video coming for that one. It's a interesting unit. But anyways, this video is about this Bogner module here. All right, let's take the gain halfway up. All right, changing it to the lower mid focus. And the B1 upper mids. right, let's go up to the modern schizo. Modern, I guess, I don't know. I'm gonna take the gain up. Back the lows down a little bit. All right, back the gain back down, and we're gonna throw the golden boy at this thing, see what it does. All right. Let's take this to that setting. All right, it's time to check out that red channel, and got it kind of pulled back a little bit. We'll work up to the high gain stuff. Now this one, this setting on the Schizo control, it scoops it out and there's a big volume drop. So let me tweak these to get it juiced up a little bit. So what I really think is interesting is how much gain ground you cover just with these switches. I didn't touch the gain knob. Gain knob is still fairly conservative there, but the different modes and the aggression, like the way that these Schizo switches change things up, combined with the pre-EQ setting, I think it's really interesting, and it can lead to a little bit of choice paralysis, but it also, on the other hand, it offers some good flexibility if you really have a specific sound you're wanting. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and mess with the Golden Boy on this now. Pull the volume back a little bit. It was cranked for that. All right. Almost kind of fuzzy there, just that really rolled off top end. Kind of neat. Okay. Might get noisy. That's enough of you. All right, now this thing's got a little sag knob down here that can, I guess, sort of simulate the sag that you would get on maybe a Class A tube amp, or if you are using a Variac to drop the voltage down a little bit. So I'm going to turn it off now, and let's go to the high gain channel so we can kind of accentuate the chugs. Okay, so it's a little bit saggy there, but it's not a huge difference, even from all the way down to all the way up. But it's a nice option to have if you want to take a little bit of that initial bite off of the pick attacks. So yeah. All right, so here's something that you guys should probably see. And if you take the cover off of the unit inside of it, you'll see two little switches there. All right, so one of these is called air and one of these is called voice. And what you can do is you can change the position of these two-way switches and get a different sound out of this unit. So that's what I'm going to do here. I've got it on, the air is in SWB setting, and the voice switch is on 101B mode. So what I'm going to do is switch the voice to 100B, and we're going to leave it there, and then I'll pop it back out and then turn the air switch off. I don't think anyone has talked about or showed this in the module review for this yet. So here's how it goes in if you are uninitiated. It has two little rails that it slides into the sides of the PCB. Slide in there, pushes in like an old NES cartridge, and if you want to screw them in you can, but since I'm going to remove this here in a minute, I will leave it unscrewed. There's less gain in the 100B mode. That's a good clean sound right there. So if you do want to use this as a dedicated clean and then your high gain channel, I think this 100B might be the better way to go. All right, lead channel. All right, so that's 100 B mode. Let's check out what that air switch sounds like. All right, I've got the air switch in the off position, so let's hear what that does on the blue channel. It might just be my ears playing tricks on me, but it sounds like it pulled some of the presence and kind of that, I hate to use the word airiness, but that upper end clarity, it's pulled it back a little bit. It's made it a little bit darker sounding. Okay, so I kind of like it the way it came out of the box, and I think Reinhold got it right there, but I do like the fact that we have these options inside the actual module itself to tweak some little things here and there. And obviously you can also do some tube swapping if you care for that. I was, like I said in the beginning of the video, I was kind of on the fence with this unit because I'm trying to figure out how to make it work in my workflow on the stage. And the show that I used it for, I used it going into the aux stomp, into the FRFR, and into the front of house like I typically do. And while it sounded good, don't get me wrong, I didn't like the way it sounded in my ears. I think if I had gone out to the front of the house and spent a little bit more time listening to it out there, I probably would have not been worrying about it as much, but as musicians, when we hear what's coming into our ears, that can kind of get into our head, no pun intended. It can kind of get in your head when you're playing and like, I'm not digging this, but it's not terrible, but I'm going to try to have a great time anyways kind of thing. So it's been hanging out in the studio for probably about 4 or 5 months now, and not really wanting to get rid of it because I know that there are some really awesome units that I want to try inside this thing, but also not really loving it enough to do a review on and to take it back to the stage until I put it into the power station. And for me, I think that's where the secret sauce for this working truly lies. I've tried it with the tube amp expander and it's okay, but using it with this power station into the 412, it's where everything comes together and there's the magic. There's what I hear so many people raving about that initially I didn't quite get. And I knew that there were enough people absolutely loving this thing that it's like it has to be me. I have to be doing something wrong here, and I was. So I'm glad I kind of pieced this together enough to get a great sound. And I have run the power station into the Captor X, then into the aux stomp, and again, it sounds great because you've got the mojo coming from this nice tube power section there that the tube amp expander just doesn't quite dish up the way that I wanted it to, the way that this does. So, yeah, it'll go back on stage with me, and it'll be the first in line with the Katana will be on deck in case something does go awry. But yeah, I'm looking forward to trying out some new modules with this thing now. I've got a bunch of them on my Zounds wish list. So yeah, we're gonna do the whole Pokemon thing and collect all these and give them a whirl and see which ones I like and see which ones I don't like. And I'll have videos for those. And also, I'll have a video for this weird thing hanging off my Les Paul here. So anyways, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me, and I hope you guys like this. And even though Zounds didn't send this to me, they do have all of the Synergy stuff on their site, and I'll throw some affiliate links down there if you do want to check this stuff out. And for the money and the flexibility that the system offers with all the different modules, I think it's really cool, and there's something for everybody in there, whether you're looking for a Class A amp or a high gain metal amp or anything in between. They've kind of got a little bit of everything, and that's exciting. So yeah, I'm looking forward to trying out some more of these things, and I will catch you guys in whichever module video comes next. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Take care. Bye.